Então, Amy, what's up? What's she doing? Doing all right? I hope that critique helped you, by the way. Like, it's really good because you're doing figure work. Um, but you know, like I kept this kind of in a blocking stage for a long period of time for the benefit, and that's what I want you to do. If you're trying to practice, get good at this stuff, I wouldn't worry about I wouldn't worry about like detailing or anything like that. Not even getting to this stage, but the basic block-in shadow shapes, that's okay. You could do that, but I'd like you to keep it like more simple. Really focus on the proportions. And it wasn't over modeled. Maybe in some of the lights there was shadow in the lights where there shouldn't have been. You just need to unify everything, right? So shadow shapes, definite shadow shapes. When we squint down, you don't see me drawing the breast here. It might be a slight indication, like, you know, underneath like the crease or something. Good. That's why I'm telling you this stuff. But I don't like accentuate it, right? Everything is drawn based off what I see when I squint, and I'll open my eyes to make sure the technique is right. But look, there's like definite light shapes here. There's a definite shadow shape here, right? And there's small indications here and there, but they don't overpower that area because we're squinting the whole time, and that's the idea behind it, right? So I was very pleased with that work that you did because you're kind of getting back into it, which is what I've wanted you to do, because I think like it's going to benefit everything you do. If you get good at this type of work right here, everything that you do is going to see improvement. And one thing I'm talking about unification of shadow shapes and such, is don't, like, I saw like there was this like dark shadow here and then a light, you know, that reflected light, and it was just, don't put that in. Just make it one basic shadow. That's what I'm talking about. So squint, just unify that. And if you're like, I squint, I still see it a little bit, don't put it in. As they were doing, like even with the nipples, they were like totally detailed. Don't need to do that. That's way down the road, because the problem is at that stage, it pops out too much. And also the proportions are incorrect, so you're spending time on stuff that you're going to have to erase, and you're wasting your time with it. Well, if there's a shadow in the reference, squint down and sketch the shadow shape out like I did here, and just do a basic blocking all the way to the edge. Don't do don't do different grades of shadow, right? Is what I'm saying. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Because here's the thing, like, I want you to get to that, but not yet. We need to build to that. And you're going to get there quicker if you don't put it in now. Good. I know you don't. You know, look, just keep in mind, I'm essentially, with a lot of this stuff, very much a broken record. You know, I say the same stuff over and over again, and the reason is because it's basics, but those basics are hard to do, and we have to make them habit, which is a hard thing to do, is to form a habit, especially one that goes against human nature, which is to open our eyes and draw every single detail in the interest of getting the likeness, or what we think is likeness, immediately. That's hard to break. I went through it. Everybody goes through that stuff. Everybody does. In my opinion, I think most everybody goes through in their training at some point. You know, that they make these mistakes, and you have to unlearn a lot of stuff that we're taught. Just like really strict with myself with this one. I am really trying to slow myself down with it, which, you know, Might not make the most interesting streaming experience like in the beginning, but since I can't sacrifice my work, go quickly, because I'm going to start developing these bad habits, I'm trying to slow myself down and improve things that I know I need to improve upon. Right now, essentially, I'm just trying to warm up because my hand is, I haven't done anything since Friday, and I'd like to get that dexterity back. That's essentially it. And the reason why I have this camera here again, why, Hammy, is to squint. See me squinting, like doing this stuff, right? Kind of match it up with my pencil strokes and stuff. I'm kind of opening my eyes to see exactly what I'm doing. So, but at the same time, squinting them to get the overall basic impression. And that's very important to do. Very mucho. Very mucho. It's mucho importante. All around, right? We're working everything up at once. I'm taking into account the distances, the larger shapes, everything at this stage. It's not just like, okay, it's, blocking time or whatever, or detailing, Obviously, I'm trying to think of everything all at once. All at once, man. All at once. That's what we do. Like right here, there's this shadow shape, this light shape here. What most people do, they make this very light and then make this very dark. That is over modeling. So in a sense, yours was a little bit over modeled, but like how you get rid of that is unify the shadow shapes. And yours wasn't really over modeled. Yeah, so like, look, copy what I do in terms of process and the mentality, okay? Because, Hammy, the reason why I do this stuff is so that y'all have, it's not just for me. This is like, these are the basics, right? It's something that you're not going to advance past, really. Like, you never pass the basics. You always have to work on them, is my point. And I really want to stress that. Fundamentals, You need to know how to block this stuff in. You have to make it a habit. It should not just be optional. See, we can, like in art, we can pick and choose kind of, how I want to do things and this and that. Like, all of us fall into the trap, especially when it's very difficult to do something. It's like we kind of make small little exceptions here and there for ourselves, right? I do this, you do this, everybody does this. Everybody I've seen does this to some degree or another. But, that's why it's important to have a solid method that you're sticking to. And that's not to say that there's not other methods, right? But be disciplined in this stuff and really, force yourself. Like Tagian's doing, he is getting an idea of what he wants to do, and he's pursuing that. Queldar's doing that to a degree as well. He is. He's just, Queldar's, he has these projects that he does, and and they're meant to better himself, right? Work on things that he thinks he needs to work on, and that's a good thing. All right, so I mean, with you, I think, you know what? Here's what I want you to do. All right, so stop beating around the bush. I want you to start, I want you to start thinking this in your head, that you're serious and that you're going to be really good at this. And I don't want you rationalizing, saying, well, you know, I have kids, or I'm this type of person, or I'm not skilled, or I don't know this. Don't think about any of that stuff. That's not the point. We're trying to psych yourself up. Start thinking that you can do this, that like you're really good at this. Laura Chow. How are you, Laura? I want you to get in your head that you're serious about this, okay? That's what I want you doing. Lewis Master. Yes. Because it's going to change how you work and how you think about things, because you're going to need that to proceed in this, because it is very hard, right? It's very hard. And I want you to be good at it. But I want you to get it in your head that you're serious, that you're good, that you're going to, you're on this mission, right? That's what I want you to start thinking about. Yes, I do want you to do that, actually. I want you to say you're serious about it, to yourself, psych yourself up, even if you're not right now. A lot of people want to be good at something, right? But then the hard work sets in, and that human nature kicks in, and then we don't pursue it because of it, right? Or we find excuses, and they're probably good excuses oftentimes, but I want you to get past that, is my point, for the sake of being good, because I know that you can be, and I don't want you thinking you have any sort of disability, or you used to be good, or you used to be able to think. Get that stuff out of your head. I'm dead serious. This is the mentality of painting, of drawing, and all the great artists will have this mentality. They need to take themselves serious. They need to do it. Well, this is a chill place. Chill place. Isn't it? Is it not? Hmm? That map mural is finally done, and Sam helped me install it in the client's wall yesterday. I'll post a picture in Discord. Sweet! Doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel great to have something done? Yes, it does. Good job, Loudestan. Good job. That stuff is rough, isn't it? When you have projects like that, I mean, it feels great afterwards, but sometimes when you're in the middle of doing it, it's rough. It really is. No idea. No idea. Shaping this stuff, squint down. Take your time, breathe. Let me check it. Discord, show me your work. No way! Look at this. That's really cool looking. I like it. Oh, that must feel good because this was a project. Wow, look at that. Louder, that's really good. That's bigger than I thought it was too. That's what she said. You're welcome. I think so. It's because it's higher off the ground. Let's zoom out again. That's probably, what is that? 6 feet by, let me guess, 6 by 8? Is it 6 by 8 feet? I bet you it is. That's a big one. That's what she said. Seven by 9, okay. 7 by 9. That's pretty good. This is flatter. Flat. There we go. Look at that. Yes. Don't like that. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It looks really good. She did a good job with that one. For once. You're making a video of that, right? Are you gonna make a video of that? I'm sure you have to make a video of that. This thing. Ow. Eventually, yeah, I hear you. These little changes, it might seem like I'm being picky, which I am, but this is important. Like, we have to get these small little, the angles correct, the proportions and such on this level. It really makes all the difference in the anatomy. It pushes the drawing forward and helps you in painting, and benefits are just far outweigh the negative of actually having to spend a little bit more time with the drawing. cleaning and reorganizing my workspace yesterday and came across the sketches and notes from class. I even had the critiques he did on them printed so I could go look back at them. At one point I made the corrections to the proportions. I may pull up the references and go back to working on them. I would. You should do that. You should do that. You definitely should. You have access to information, and very valuable information. I would definitely use that. I would definitely use that. There we go. Scroll up here. You have access to information. There's and I'll help you with anything you need help with, Hammy. It benefits me to know this stuff as well and to reiterate it, and to, I enjoy teaching and improving myself with this because frankly I'm not where I really want to be with it. And that's okay. We'll get there, but practice, right? We practice. Continue doing what you know and try to improve what you know, what you already know. Always try to improve, always try to blah, 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 all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying. See. Show me your work. Are you talking about this on mine? Yeah, this. It'll make it look skinny, I guess, skinnier. Like the arm on the right, this one. It's going to look skinnier, obviously, when you add the shadow shape in because the light's not going to be as much. It's not going to be popping out as much. If I was to take that away, it would look thicker. But if you're looking at the entire figure all at once, that arm is skinny because it's being pressed down. Yeah, it feels good to do figure sketches. I do them because it keeps me in practice. This comes up. Oh, this one right here? Yeah, I can see that. And that's partially because this line right here is darker than the impression of what's happening. I'm actually, so with this one, I'm adding on to the top a little bit, so it might fix it some for you. Yeah. Her right. Got it, yeah. Let's bring it up some. That's actually correct now, maybe. So I'm doing these like subtle, very, very subtle shifts. And these are the shifts that it's like, why do them? This makes you good. And this isn't getting caught up with detail. I'm actually trying to fix the larger shapes and make it make anatomical sense. And like the sharper your eye gets, the more subtle you'll be able to correct it while thinking about the overall shape. When you get to that point, you're at a good point. It's a good thing. Birthday cake. For who now? This here. Just 'cause. This is stuff, it would probably help if I zoomed in for you guys, but maybe I do. Why don't I do this? So the problem is I work all around, but let me zoom in for you here. This is like gonna be, I don't know if the camera can actually get that close. I'll get it back, I'll just look at this thing here. I'm gonna bring it fairly close. There we go, come on. Now, let's do this. So y'all can see this is a little bit, obviously closer. A sec. Because I want y'all to see this, because I do look back at the streams and I think I could do a better job of like bringing y'all into the work a little bit more than I do. This lens is very shallow depth of field, which is why like it's blurring on one side. It's because the depth, whether it's further away or closer, is going to be blurred on this. It's a very precise camera. Okay. Here we go. So this should help some. So now we're very close in, and we can kind of see the technique of what we're doing. And yeah, I'll just leave my face like this. Screw it, whatever. I'm overthinking this, as I always do. All right, so this is generalized, and I can correct it through redrawing, and also erasing, which is essentially the same as drawing to me. Subtle. There's one angle that goes like this, and then it goes down. It breaks here. And we need to define this. So what do? We clean up the lines. Clean up the lines is what we do. There. And there's an angle that breaks going up like that, and I got it wrong. This is why we need a sharp pencil. Just a little bit. But we don't want it popping out too much, so I have to constantly squint and make sure that I'm not over modeling, which is key, right? That needs to feel like it's really resting on the thigh. There, hello, good sir. Louis, how's it going? Elise says turning 14. John will be 12. All right, well, tell them happy birthday for me. Hello, good sir. What are you doing, huh? So the reason why this is important, you might be thinking, but Louis, why are you detailing so much in a little drawing like this? Shouldn't you just go through and have fun? Shut up. The reason why we're doing this is we're practicing how to do this when we're working on larger paintings, because if we can't do this on small ones, we can't do it on big ones, right? Small works, get the stuff out. And if I can produce it on this very subtle level right here, which is difficult, I can translate that stuff over to painting, and it essentially means that I'm badass. All right? So, lamenting over the fact that I have to return to work tomorrow. You poor thing. Get freaking a month off, which is good. I'm glad you got time off, man. It feels good. Val, you know that you're going to get more time off, though, too. It's going to snow again, right? It's going to rain, probably. I bet you'll have time off sometime next week. He's a line worker. Okay. He dances on poles all day. That's what he does. Essentially, if you've ever seen, let me show you how I picture Val. Give me a second here. This is going to be worth it. Okay, 1 second. Images. This is how sec. Yes, this is it. That's not what I want. Save. Okay, I got it. Let me show you. This is essentially Val right here. Such a bad picture, but whatever. Here, let me do this. This is Val. This is how I picture him. Let's zoom this on. This is essentially what he does all day. You know, I'm not saying he's not a hard worker here, but you know, he essentially gets on those poles and such. And from everything that he's described, that's what he does, I think. Yes, it is. Stupid. A little bit bigger beard. We'll do a mock-up of it and then we'll draw you here. I'm actually serious about this. I'm going to do that. I wish I could grow a beard, but I only can do like a patchy Stony Stark. Tony Stark. I almost said Tony Starch. Okay, back to this. Can't let Val hold me back like he does in Arena and Overwatch from being a rank 1, my rightful place, from taking my rightful place as a rank 1 gladiator. Can't let him hold me back. I can't, you know, beards. You don't like beards? Or are you frustrated about yours, Hammy? Yes. I like that crying emoji. It's a nice one. Okay, so this I'm making a little bit too dark. This just in from Miz. Val Bobos got muted for 10 days. Poor Bobos. What a strange thing for him to do. What, get muted? I love beards. You love beards. Okay, you love beards. Okay. All right. Do you like dwarves? You want to play in it? Play in what? Beards? Or Val's beard? Let's see how weird we can get here. That's looking a little bit better. Now, Hammy, right here, okay, we squint, we see this is too large. But then we need to make sure this, well, that needs to come up just a slight bit, just a little bit, okay? Right, we don't just say, oh, it's too large, let's get through and reduce the size. No, we gotta see exactly where it needs to be reduced. Okay? Okay? The moment when children decide that grown-ups should do anything, and grown-ups go with it, that's when civilization explodes. No comment. No comment. Yes. Okay, let's do some shit here. I'll do it. Good influences on me. Pristine being of impeccable stature, mentality, mindset, just overall positive guy. Totally have my temper in check, totally, completely. Very put together individual. Pet and floof them. No civilization will be exploding here, lol. Will not explode as such. Explode! Civilization. Oh yeah. Making that shadow my bitch one crosshatch at a time. Explodes as such. Wait, no civilization. Wait a second. So, are we talking about Val's beard here still? Is that what we're talking about? I feel like we've been talking about his beard for a long period of time, and it's kind of freaked Val out, this poor soul. Val, are you still there? Apparently we're still talking about your beard. Elisa hates it, so he's doing it for her birthday. Oh, are we talking about your husband, or are we talking about Val? We're talking about your husband, your husbino. Just got back, lol. Had to go check on my food in the oven. I'm actually glad you missed the conversation. Doing meal prep today, good. Wait, did you not do it yesterday? You normally do it on fun days. I guess it's because you're going back to work tomorrow? So like, yeah, okay, got it. Just shifting the fingers up a little bit because they were correct. Wait, this one though. Wait, is it incorrect? It's not H. The pain in my ass. Hammy, I do not know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about, woman. Woman. Okay, this pinky is definitely freaking off. I'm going ever so slightly, just kind of pluck it out. Insta-correct this. Insta-corrected. There's that. It goes there. This is where the nose over just a little bit. Just forget it, Louis. Oh, you know what? Hammy. Boom. Shakalaka. This is all about focus. All about skill. There we go. Just keep on going. Squint. Open. Okay. This goes down. Okay, so I'm going to look at this light shape to determine this. See that? Yeah, y'all are looking. See, these are, it's very subtle stuff, right? It's very subtle. It's not like a Bob Ross thing where it just flies up. You know, maybe I get it to that point one day, but this is how we practice. This is how we. It doesn't matter what stage we're at. You know, you get to this. Or rather, it doesn't matter what skill level you're at. When you get to this stage in a drawing, you want to be thinking about the large shapes while doing these tiny shifts to it, right? That's what we do. What we do. What we do. Squint. Shape. And then we just ever so slightly. All right. Straight lines. Straight lines. There we go. Squint. Open. Race. Shit. Don't do what I just did. That was really stupid. I'll fix that. Later, I'll come back to that actually. Let's work on the jets. All right, Hammy, this is how I do it. Just squint down, just get the impression of the nips. Okay, just the nipples right there, just get the impression. All right? Just the impression right now. Line them up, make sure they're nice. There we go. Just kind of pull this a little bit there. All right, and we need to make sure these are definite shapes at this point. And then I'm going to bring the light in the top. So I'm shaping an eraser, needed eraser. And we're going to kind of cross-hatch into it with the eraser. You can use the eraser as such too. I'm kind of wisping it off so it's not like a hard erase. The idea is you squint down, it needs to look the same as when you like flash back and forth. Nothing can stand out more, you know, than the photograph or less than the photograph that I'm working on, the reference photo, right? Both have to be the same thing. Now, what's happening here is the armpit, there's a little bit of pressure, obviously, and so it's pushing some of the skin up, and we need to get that tension in here. And this is the beauty of a drawing. This is what we're doing. We're not just trying to get the shapes, like think shapes and get the proportions and make it look cool. We're trying to think about what's happening anatomically. It's a study. So that if I'm going to be doing a painting of this, right, of this particular position, then when I go into my painting, I'm going to have all this stuff in my brain. Like, okay, this is what's happening here. I need to get the tension of the breast pushing against the arm. And I work out technically how to do that in this drawing right here. It needs to make sense. And if you can do that, you can push that understanding in your work. Your drawings are just going to look badass, right? People, like, they'll be able to tell that you know what you're doing just based off of, not just the detail, but how it makes anatomical sense, right? So we can convey tension and pressure, right? Just like the pressure here pressing up against the leg, which I didn't really get right here yet, but we do this through lines, anatomy, proportions, and such, right? You need to feel that pressure. Anyway, back to that. Let's stay up here. Let's stay focused. So just a little bit like I have. Now I'm going to go through with a cross-hatching technique, and this kind of looks nice when I go across what I have right here and kind of come up a little bit onto it, and that makes it turn up, and that gives it a little bit more depth when you do some cross hatching, but you can do it flowing. I'm doing it in this case flowing with the form. I'm not going across it like it was before, so whatever. Okay. Some of this stuff in. Now this I'm making as dark as I see it in reference to like everything else around it. So I'm trying to keep my sharps and my darkness of the lines up with everything else, right? Got to look at the whole thing to, make accurate, come up with like, the most accurate way of drawing it. And this takes a lot of practice, right? But that's why I'm doing it. Like I've done so many of these. Get to the point, especially if you've trained or whatever, like, okay, I've done this, I know how to do it, so I'm never going to do it again because, I'm painting, which is better than drawing, but that's a mistake, and you gotta keep up with your drawing. Make sure my head's not blocking this. I'm not just trying to clean it up, I'm shaping the anatomy with this. So it kind of dips in some, and like, I don't always draw it correctly at first, and so I'll have to go back into it and draw and redraw. So here I'm thinking about, okay, well, where is this? This piece right here, well, this might, actually, yeah, this comes out just a little bit. Pencil needs to be sharpened here. This is a B I'm working with. The other one's an HB. The blue pencil's an HB. Slightly tougher, but I'm using the B because it's very easily erasable. And I like doing very light lines with it because it's a challenge, so it gets my hand into practice. So the B for this paper in particular is very good to work with. So I kind of put a little bump, but I don't want it like a knob, right? It's not knobby. It's here, and then I'm just going to, I'm looking at this whole piece as I put this in, and then this is kind of come here, and then dips up just a little bit, and then I'll go through with the eraser and shape it ever so slightly. Okay, just like this. That's what we do. Doing the hood. And it's running the risk of being a little bit overworked for this stage at where it's at. Now, Hammy, this is what I'm talking about. You don't want to do too much reflected light up in here. Right now, when we squint down, this is all one value, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to lightly darken this just a little bit, keeping the direction of the hatching, the shading. Okay. And so if we get the shapes right and then we get a solid impression, a light impression, and then that's when it starts looking more three-dimensional. This is too long. This comes in some. This drops down just a little bit, like this. So now this is where I'm glad that I kept a B, because I can actually erase. So I'm going to cut in just a little bit here. All right. And then I'm going to kind of do this and dab the line right here. And take that line out from the shadows. And then I'm going to go back into it here and just slowly refine it. Now this change seems it is a subtle change, but it's a big deal. You get good at doing joints, right? That's like key, because those are the subtle angle. Subtle. Did I just hit this with my button? Yes, but it's fine. It's a baby to deal with. All right, Hammy, I'll see ya. Take care. Good luck. Okay. Here. This shadow actually drops a little bit. We're just making it a little bit bigger there. I'm looking all over as I do this. I'm trying to see everything at once. This I did not draw very well, so I'm going to go back into this. So if this is here, this comes out just too far. The elbow still comes in just a little bit. I'm trying not to draw it too dark as well. I might have actually brought in too much there, but if I did, I'll bring it back out. And I'm shaping it with the eraser, so I'm drawing with the eraser just as much as I'm drawing with the pencil. Working the edges, working the lines. The shadows are there to supplement, right? They're there to help me to see the shapes. That's what we need to do. We need to accurately see the shapes. I'm gonna go with the form here, and then I'm going to go across it, and this will make it look a little bit more three-dimensional. There we go. Look at that. Smooth. Think about, you got to focus on the stroke, right? You got to focus on it. This isn't a formulaic approach. You start feeling what needs to be done after some time. And then I'm going to kind of put a little bit of a curve on the hatch. There we go. And then even this right here, let's work on the line quality here a little bit more. And so you can tell it's like slowly starting to shape together, but I'm definitely trying to correct the big shapes all at once as well. I'm trying to understand, not even just correct, understand what the hell is going on with this anatomy, right? We have to understand it. It's so important. Use all the tools at your disposal, as they say, to do this. This is looking a little bit blocky, a little bit chunky. All right. A little bit, and then this is going to come in maybe just a little bit like that. So I'm going to bring this down. Something like that. Very subtle moves, subtle moves, subtle moves. Pretty sure. Let me readjust this. There. That's better. Actually see what I'm working on. I need to remember that depth of field so I can just fix this up for you. Anyway. Here we go. then even what I can do here is kind of bring some of this down like that, and then kind of bring it across. So it's kind of a shadow, ever so slightly, like that, and then we can come up here, bring it off this, and shape the forearm at the same time. Lighten that up just a little bit. Squint down. What's darker, the torso or the forearm? It's really the top of the forearm is slightly darker. So I'm just going to go over with a line or two, something like that. And then this squint, a couple lines going across, just a couple. For now, that makes sense. Might get darker if I darken the shadows, but for now, that makes sense. It's about relationship, being in the same relationship, right? This shadow actually does need to drop a little bit, so even though I've kind of done that nice markup, I'm gonna drop it just a little bit, and then I'll go back into it. Let's bring it down some. I can always bring those marks back up into it. It's not a big deal. There we go. Soften. And we just bring the marks up into it. Just a little step back, make sure it looks okay, which I should be doing more than I am right now. It's looking okay. Now let's fix the other boobie up. Let's do this. We're going to the other side, and so I'm going to turn it just a little. You know what? No, that's fine. I'll just keep it there for now. This. Right there. Okay. Working here. This needs to go down some. I'm trying to keep it very light. There we go, something like that. Yeah, I should, actually. I could do that. There's only a couple, though, right? It's like on her wrist. Or those bracelets. Let's check next time she's in. But I can include them too. Val, I am an expert at everything that I touch, and everything I touch turns to gold. So yes, I can, if I so choose, fingers and wrists look like. Do that, okay? So to answer your question, sure, why not? I can do it. Look at that arm, easy shit. Didn't even have to practice. We're increasing the pixel count by thinning out the lines. Yes. Step back, step forward. Keep it clean, keep it simple, easy. Alright, man, so at this point, I'm going to work a little bit on the painting, I think. A little bit on that painting. Let's do this. No, I'm not going to take that away. I'm doing a better job. I'm adjusting this as I go. Just gonna keep like freaking sculpting this bitch out. This is all messed up in here. There, this draws. Or does it? Make it slider. carving the knees out. Slowly but surely. Slowly. This is a study. That's what we do, we study. Value there.